Howdy y'all, Jackson here with Trick Studios, and welcome back to another episode of Just Some Rambling. I've got my standard sports things, and then once again I have another political-ish thing I'm talking about, so if you're not interested in that, and I'll just click off when I get to that point. So let's just hop into the sports. We're going to start things off in the professional world this week, where my Bears played the Cowboys. If you pay attention, obviously you saw the Bears won 31 to 24. Honestly, it was pleasantly surprised. The team played actually really well. They're back above 500 with a 7-6 record now. They are in the playoff hunt, though based on their season so far, it's kind of undeservingly so. Mitch Trubisky actually looked really well. It probably helps that they finally kind of had an offensive plan to go around with his skill set, i.e., his legs. That's where he excels. Um, though right now, I still probably wouldn't go ahead and sign the fifth-year option that they have to decide on, before next season starts. Though if he closes out this season like he's been like the last two games, if he keeps that through the next three games, which will be a real test, then maybe we sign the fifth-year option. Right now, I say just let him play out his rookie deal, and if he excels well enough, then give him a real contract. If not, just let him go. The defense played well. The closeness of the score really isn't true because most last couple of those points came really in garbage time, so the game was already won. Didn't really matter. Looking forward to going down the stretch. This is where the team will really be tested. I'm obviously not fully optimistic because of the schedule, but next week they have at the Packers, and they're home against the Chiefs, and they at the Vikings. So it's a kind of a real gauntlet. If they close out strong and make the playoffs, if they win all three of these and make the playoffs, they could actually be dangerous because they'll be the hot team going in. But as of right now, I don't expect them to. They might be able to get one out of those three, but I don't see enough to get in. But let's just hop on to the next topic. And the next topic, of course, is the college football playoff. The final rankings came out, so you have the top four teams, which is number one LSU, who throttled what was essentially an overranked Georgia team. They probably should have been 6. Utah was also overranked. It should have been probably Oklahoma, Baylor, then Georgia in the ranking. But LSU took care of business. They won. Number 2 is Ohio State. They went down early. They were down 21-7, I believe, at halftime. But then they came back and won handily. In my opinion, I still think Ohio State's probably the number one team in the country. But I can't, you know, argue LSU being number one at the moment. Number 3, you have Clemson, who took care of business against Virginia. They still haven't really been tested all season, so this is a dangerous game for Ohio State. The 2-3 matchup. Neither team probably wanted to play Clemson because you don't know exactly what they are. But and then 4, you have Oklahoma, who won a thriller against Baylor in the Big 12 championship in overtime. With the Utah loss, to punch their ticket in. I say in the games, I say LSU probably handles Oklahoma in a fairly high-scoring affair, but I still say LSU will win by more than one score. I say Ohio State beats Clemson in a close game. Not sure where the point range will be without looking deeply into it. And in the national championship, I think Ohio State pulls out. They hold off Joe Burrows in a revenge game attempt to win the title. Honestly, if Clemson beats Ohio State in the semifinal, I think Clemson beats LSU. I think whoever comes out of that 2-3 matchup is going to win the national title. So yeah, on to a slightly less important thing from real world. With the playoff rankings coming out, obviously, I will have my 8-team college football playoff video coming out this week. It will be coming out on Wednesday. Just thought I'd put this out there. The game's already simmed. I'm just editing the video now. Just going to give you the 8 teams that will be in the playoffs. Obviously, you have LSU as the SEC champion at 1, Ohio State Big Ten champion at 2, Clemson ACC champion Oklahoma Big 12 champion. 5 and 6 are both the at-large teams with Florida and Georgia, because that's where they are ranked. Oregon makes it in at the Pac-12 champion. They are also number 7, so they. And then number 15, Memphis, will be the Group of 5 representative. So just thought I'd put that information out there. Look for that video coming out on Wednesday. Next thing I want to mention about is, of course, my Michigan Wolverines. They have made their bowl game. They have made the Citrus Bowl, where they will be playing the Alabama Crimson Tide. So, uh, luckily so far, I haven't seen any major holdouts for players, uh, unlike when Rashad Gary held out last year, which probably hurt them in the game. Tua is still obviously out for the Crimson Tide, so they're playing with their backup quarterback. Um, Still, though, I think the game is going to be either one or two ways. Either it's going to be a close Michigan win, or Alabama is just going to completely blow them out. Uh, I don't think it can go any other way. I think if it's close, Michigan will win. If it's not close, Alabama is just walking away with it. Obviously, fingers crossed for a Michigan win for me, but And honestly, with the game, with the selection and whatnot, I think honestly this spot probably should have went to Minnesota. They had a much better season, you know, from outward looking in, from projections and whatnot. And Minnesota probably should have gotten this spot, and Michigan should have went to the Outback Bowl. But whatever. All right, and now I'm heading over to my political topic. So once again, if you're not really interested in that at all, just click off now, and you won't have to hear anything about it. All right, and anyways, I kind of want to talk about the whole gab and pornography thing that's been going on Twitter and whatnot over the last couple days or so. If you're out of the loop on alternative tech and alternative media, you might be unfamiliar that there's been a push for either an outright ban or just increased regulation on pornography over the last couple days or so. Most prominently, from what I see, is with the Twitter alternative Gab. And it is with Gab and the reaction to their statements that I kind of want to focus on. Earlier this week, of course, the founder of Gab, Andrew Torba, through the official Gab Twitter, promoted a petition for harder pornography regulations and a statement that they were banning it from their platform. Now, I will plead a little bit that it's slightly hypocritical for a free speech platform to be advocating a ban of any subject uh, on their platform, though it should be recognized their larger view of the point is more correct than not correct. Which I'll start off by agreeing that porn obviously is inherently harmful to both an individual and a society as a whole, especially when considering the large swaths of availability as well as the ease of access to it, even for minors. That said, an outright ban internet wide or is probably not the proper response. I think better regulation, especially to keep it out of the hands their way from minors, is probably a need, and even bans from specific platforms is probably acceptable. But obviously, free speech, you're probably saying, I agree, but I agree somewhat. But for a marketplace of ideas, in a place like Gab, I personally think porn really doesn't add anything to the conversation. It's kind of an inherently pointless expression in a grand scheme. It's no more provoking than just white noise in the background. But even with its inability to actually message something, it still has large negative effects. Ruining personal relationships. The ability for people to have relationships nowadays. In general, just mental well-being. I say platform is probably better off without it, but perhaps a ban of it is not the accurate solution. Maybe just like a proper quarantine or something is probably a better direction. And to those that are deleting Gab and virtual virtue signaling about it on Twitter, um, looking at people like the quartering and whatnot. They're just being incredibly hypocritical, in my opinion. Drawing the line in the sand because the company doesn't want porn on their platform, but then complaining about it and you know, you know, celebrating getting rid of it on a platform that happily removes viewpoints they disagree with, even if the viewpoint is accurate or the information they are spreading is newsworthy, is just unbelievably hypocritical. Um, the fact that they're siding with porn over, you know, actual important free speech, decisions is really rather crazy to me. Um, yeah. Anyways, thanks for listening to me ramble some, especially on that last topic. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you have not already, and once again, thank you very much for listening. Bye.